back to the Business Simple podcast. Familiar face back in here with me, Mike Keast from MK Roofing. When we shot Mike's long format episode, which funnily enough actually releases today, we hadn't had this idea of the 20 questions podcast format yet. And we think that Mike would be an awesome person to do this with. So he's graced us with his presence once again. We're going to do this 20 questions thing. Basically the format for this, Mike, is I have 20 questions in front of me right now that I haven't read. One of my team has provided them to me. I'm going to ask you them.
I don't know them.
You don't know them. You haven't read them. Yeah.
I hope I know a thing or two about roofing.
It'll be interesting to see how much about it is actually roofing related. Yeah. We'll find out. So,
no, this is epic.
Thanks for coming back, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. If it's all good with you, we'll just crack on, eh?
Done.
Cool.
Sounds good.
One challenge for you as well. Try to keep your initial answer below a minute, 90 seconds. So try be punchy with it. We'll elaborate afterwards, but just try to give that initial one cool. What inspired you to start to create MK Roofing?
Passionate about roofing. I knew there was something more in me. I knew there was something more to give, and just high expectations of myself. So therefore, created MK Roofing. So it was pretty quick process.
Yeah.
Thought of it. Then next day there was a Facebook ad. Got into it. Made up a name. It was originally going to be called MKR. That's my kitchen rule, so it was just MK, like Keast, MK Roofing. And I can't cook.
How much do you think there is to that? Like, I'm already off script, by the way. How much do you think there is to that just taking action piece rather than spending a lot of time? I mean, I did that with this podcast. I thought about setting this podcast up for 6 months, and it took me that long to figure out what gear to do, what room to do it, and all those sorts of things. But with Digital Simple, I essentially just fell out, no longer had a job, had to do something, started Digital Simple. I didn't know what the name was going to be, I didn't know anything, but I just made a decision that I was going, and I just went. I think a lot of people stall out and don't take action because they're so worried about getting things perfect and doing it right and those sorts of things.
100%. And that, like, you hit the nail on the head. It's a mirror image. It's like I'm talking to myself. But you know, it's about not worrying what's going to go wrong. Worry about what's going to go right, and actually just take a shot. Because you know better off if you fail. You know better off than you were last time. So I was the same as you. I was out of a job. I was like, what next? Righto, let's do it. Otherwise, it was real estate. Yeah. Sort of wish some days I would do real estate.
You would have been a good
real
estate agent.
Yeah, would have been a real estate agent. Yeah. Would have sold the shit out of some homes.
Sweet, mate. Off to a good start. How has the roofing industry changed over the past 18 years, and how has MK Roofing adapted to these changes?
Oh, it's like anything. Like the whole construction industry changes like every 3 to 6 months. But I think the biggest thing that MK Roofing's looked upon is, you know, looking at what United States is doing, you know, what Europeans are doing, and trying to bring some of that stuff. You know, I called you the other day about that drone. That's AI. You know, intelligent, that it flies up, takes a scan, tells you the lifespan, tells you the issues that it's having, then pops out a report. Like, so that's forever revolving, but if you stay stuck on just the New Zealand sector and not diversify, then, you know, you can't really adapt and grow, or you don't really know what the industry's doing. So I think it's really important to, you know, look outside the box.
Why do you think so many businesses they obviously have to grow to a point, right? Like if you look at, say, some of the established players in your industry, for example, they would have gone through, I assume, the same challenges that someone like me or you's going through growing a business, where you've got to bite down, you've got to work really hard, you've got to adapt, you've got to improvise. What do you think causes them to then stop doing that?
I just think they get sick of the grind. They become pussies, you know, in all honesty. Like people like just get offended that business isn't working. The day's turned to shit. This has happened. That's happened. The staff members leaving. Like, fuck, just grit your teeth. There's no sugarcoating it. Business sucks, but the reward and the outcome of it is all your hard effort, all the grinding, all the blood, sweat, and tears you put in. You get to have X, Y, Z out of it. So like we've talked about this, man, and it's just get into it.
I personally, I think complacency becomes a really big thing as well.
100%.
I think it is actually, and I've experienced this myself, it is actually harder to keep yourself motivated once you've checked all those goals off that you had. I mean, we were talking about this earlier, but I just, I just yesterday bought a car that I've been looking for 4 years, and you don't really want to go super hard after you've just checked the goal off. No. And I think each goal you chase, it's hard to feel the same about it as, I remember when I'd wanted a C63. I used to have one on the wall when I was working at MediaWorks. It was my screensaver when I was knocking on doors. Like, I'd wanted one for so long. And I remember I found the exact car I was after. Edition 507, final year of the naturally aspirated V8, low Ks, Kiwi New, like coupe, everything I wanted. Right? Yeah, awesome. Bought it, and I loved that car. If it popped up, I'd probably buy it back, to be fair, and just chuck it in the garage and forget and just have it forever. But that feeling will be hard to ever feel again. And I think that's a big part of why businesses sort of flatten out over time. Yeah,
and they lose passion in the industry. They forget where they started. They forget where they actually come from, what challenges they had. Likes of me, I'm like you. I'll be looking at a goal, right, tick that off, right, what next? What's next? And continue just to grow, whether that's self-development, whether that's business, whether that's brand, whether that's getting more employees. You just got to keep growing. I can't stress that enough, because if you stop growing, you stopped adapting.
Yeah.
And put yourself in uncomfortable positions every day. Life should not be comfortable.
Yeah.
Yes, if you're relaxing, I'm not saying fuck, tap everything out. Oh man, shouldn't listen to this podcast. I'm tapped. Just take it easy, but challenge yourself. That's why exercise is a great thing too.
Yeah,
helps you handle a lot of stress.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit off script.
It's all good, mate. That's a good answer. It's a great answer. It was me. I took it off script.
That's
my
fault.
I'm
following.
How would you describe your leadership style in one word?
Fear.
Good word.
Yeah, fear.
What does that look like, being led by you?
I've got exceptionally high expectations for myself, so I feel like if my employees can do a third of what I do, I think that's pretty good. I think that's a good basis to stay off. But it's also trying to find the weaknesses within my employees and how I structure them, how I control them. I'm not saying I'm perfect, we have our bad days, but I think if you just look at it in an aspect of just be fair, be reasonable, and be honest, you can be a pretty good leader.
Yeah.
With having the business morals talked about. We've got a big mission statement in my office. When you walk into my office, that is the line in the sand. You go behind that, we're having a serious talk, and that's either you're getting fired or you've got to pick yourself up.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important.
Yeah, sure. And also obviously with fear, rewarding overachievement just as evenly as you
100%.
Control underachievement.
Yeah, that's dead right.
Nice. That's a screamer of an answer. What is the biggest lesson you've learnt in business?
The biggest lesson. Probably hire people a lot faster. Don't take the pressure upon yourself. Like Richard Branson, find people that are better than you at what you do, get them, put them in the place, Because the faster you do that, and then we go back a couple of steps, they talk about business development. You hire one person, all of a sudden your business has jumped 10 steps forward, and you're like, shit, what the hell? I haven't done anything. Yeah. It just cost me 115 grand salary, but it hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're sort of like, okay, well, what's next? So forever invest in the business, I think, is the biggest thing. So the biggest thing that I've learned is just get people in the right spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Love it. I did a whole podcast on just right people in the right places. Yeah. It's next week, I think.
Look forward to that.
Agree. Yeah, agree completely. What's one misconception people have about roofing?
We're dishonest. We don't care about what we do, we're not passionate, we're just there to rip people off. That's the whole thing, why I also wanted to start a roofing business, is because, and some people were criticising me for this, but I don't give a fuck, I'm not in it to please people. I want to recreate the roofing industry. I want to be looked upon as yes, you are seen upon as the same level as marketers, you're the same level as lawyers. You are professionals and experts in what you do. I just don't want to be a roofer. I want to be an expert, the best expert in roofing for all aspects of roofing throughout New Zealand. I want to be that guy that they call up, hey, I just want advice. I know, call me. So the misconception is, a lot of those things. But I'm trying to recreate it so it's like, hey, MK Roofing, shit, they're professional. Man, they're honest. They carry themselves with integrity. They deliver. The whole business structure is just bang on.
Yeah.
And it's a big goal to achieve, but it isn't impossible. And I'm slowly finding that I am achieving that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's hard. Like I can honestly just step back to be the old Joe Blogg roofer. But that's not what I'm about,
Look at how you presented. Look at all. It's not.
No roofer dresses like this.
No.
So,
I went through a phase of, and I don't know where I'm going to sit with this. I've just found that I've gotten a little bit sick of it. But I went through a phase of just wearing ties. I just wore ties every day. And I was just like, I'm just going to be the most professional looking.
Flashbacks to first 15 rugby.
Yeah, but that was honestly, and I don't know what, like, I just was like, this is a professional service. Like, I don't know why, and I'm not really dressed like that today, but
You look good.
why am I not dressed professionally? Why would that not be the thing that I would do? And so I used to wear, it was only Fridays I didn't wear ties. I'd wear ties 4 days a week, every meeting, suits, ties, all the things. But there's something to be said for showing respect to someone by putting effort into presentation, contacting, like all of those. I think it's respectful. I think if someone turns up and let's say it's a job interview and they look like they just haven't put any effort into the way that they've presented themselves, you go, do you just not care? Like, is that how you feel about this? Or that's what I jump to straight away. Whereas if it's thought out and structured and it represents them, I'm like, you've considered this, and so you're probably someone that considers other things as well.
It's bang on. Like, respect yourself, because first impressions matter. Like if I was come to do your roof and I rocked up in a bad van, thought out there was stubby bottles falling out with a durry in my mouth, you'd be like, oh, this guy's going to be cheap. But, whether if I rock up myself looking like this, giving you a pamphlet, shaking your hand, really, getting on to learn you on a personal level, and then going through the product, it's just the whole thing. That's why I exercise.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you look like you go to the gym. Yeah, I look after myself just like I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what this whole service is. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
That's dead serious, and it's something that I strive, something that I hold myself accountable for.
It's also good for the TikTok comments as well.
Yeah, that's another podcast, mate. You're taking care of that now. I won't have to see them.
You'll still jump in there.
Yeah.
Don't lie. You'll be in there. You'll be. I'm feeling a little low today. Yeah. Just got a no on that quote. Need a bit of a boost. Where am I going to go? TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
James,
what's happening?
Awesome. Hey, what role does customer service play in your business, and how do you ensure your customers are satisfied?
Oh, that's the cornerstone. That's the cornerstone. It should be the cornerstone of every company, sales and customer service. We from going to do a quote to meeting them, to bring them into the office, have a coffee, have a yarn, right through getting the job to finishing the job, then to putting a calendar note in it for 12 months later to touch base. We're forever getting in touch with our customers. It's so imperative. It's a relationship that you need to build, because on the last podcast we talked about, it's not about the money. It's about building a long-standing relationship that, hey, they know you. Hey, you've done a job for me 2 years ago. I've got this issue, with a new roof, or got this issue with my social media.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important.
Yeah. I agree completely. And we probably knew each other and had stumbled across each other for what? It'd be almost
we did
pushing 10 years probably.
We have, man.
That and doing any work together.
Yeah, correct.
It was Jimmy's days.
I
was 17 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even look like you've aged. You're just growing a bit of bloody stubble.
It's pretty weak.
What's your moisturising game, mate?
Nice. Cool. What's one habit that's helped you succeed?
Being consistent. Consistency. And that's waking up, doing the same thing, making sure you do it to the best of your ability, and just knowing that you've shutting that door at the end of the day, knowing that you've done everything to start growing a little bit more, Mm-hmm. I mean, there's heaps of things: accountability, consistency, competency.
Yeah.
I think everything like that plays a huge role.
I do think if there's one that rules above all, though, consistency's the one, right? And that's been the big thing that I've thought about is I've known a lot of people who've had a lot of energy over really short stints and they don't accomplish anything. And then when they don't accomplish anything, they're going, gas pedal on the floor, 12 out of 10, push.
Yeah.
And, you sit at like a solid 8 week in, week out. You give it your best. You put a whole lot in. Over the long run, they go from a 12 to a 2.
Yes.
When they burn out, or not burn out. I hate that word, but like when they lose faith in what they're trying to do, you're still sitting there on an 8 and you screen past. It can be a little bit intimidating at points just because you see them catching up or you see momentum or whatever, but if you're just patient and you keep doing what you do, that you'll wind up.
Consistency carries a lot of momentum, and momentum necessarily doesn't mean it's slow, it's fast. When we hear momentum, we think fast, right? Shit, we're traveling fast, but it doesn't necessarily always mean that. It means, hey, we're carrying enough momentum to then 6 months later be absolutely ball out of the gate. The systems that we've implemented by being consistent, patient, having faith, we're just full throttle. Full throttle.
Love it. That's awesome. What's a skill every roofer should learn early on?
Diversification with every role and every aspect of roofing. It's huge. It's so huge, man. And it's actually quite a sad thing to see out there in the industry that people aren't expanding the notches on their belt in respects to learning what are the process for a protective coating on a flaky, peely roof. A lot of people go, replace it. Well, no, hang on. Client doesn't have 30 grand. Or looking at the systems to, restore a concrete tile roof that's 5 years old, or having a butanol roof that's got negative full. So I think diversification within the industry is massive, and it's like through every industry, because there's a lot of roofers out there that just do either tin, spouting, membrane, or painting. I do everything. And I'm forever learning. Like last night, I couldn't sleep. I was looking at cedar tile roofs, Canadian cedar shingles. I installed one when I was like 18 and I loved every second of it. The old man got it. It was down like in Queenstown, you see it. So it's a whole lot of diversification down there. It's unreal. But installing one of those roofs, I was like, it was such a good feeling because the accomplishment you got at the end product was like, wow, a handful of people can only do this. So, that's what I was looking into. So now I'm looking into, hey, I can start bringing that in. Not many people may want it, but if that one person does, shit, I can help you, So I think diversification, massive.
Cool. So it's a cool idea. I'm just thinking about my garage on my house because it's all cedar. We were going to do one of those flush cedar garage doors where they shut and it lines up.
Epic.
Yeah, I still haven't made a call.
Have you seen those ones that go the opposite?
They come out of the ground.
Come out of the ground. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that could be a bit risky, like backing into the Porsche and like you lift it up. Archie, push the button. But yeah, like there's heaps of like all the glass ones, like that, but that's like, hey, window shopping, come steal something.
Yeah.
Heaps of cool ideas. And I think just not doing the generic old Dominator door, no offense, Dominators, but just the old generic door, do something different.
Yeah. Building a house is a can of worms, eh? We did all our interior stuff the other day and it's You
enjoying it though?
Yeah. I think it'll be real cool seeing it together at the end. That's probably what I think will be most rewarding. I'm glad that me and Jen's ideas have become very aligned. Like what we want is actually really similar. And when we both look at something, we're like, that's cool together. Sometimes it takes like a little bit of persuasion from one to the other, but I'm sort of like, that tile's cool. And she's like, well, I really like that laminate flooring. I'm like, wow, we probably meet in the middle, and they'd go pretty good together. And but it's fun. It'll be cool once it's done. I think that's probably the main
Whiskey
thing.
and cigar room on.
Yeah. I've
Fingerprint ID.
Fingerprint ID. Yeah. You can get those tiny pubs. So I'm thinking about digging one in up the hill. Anyway, I digress. But
off topic, way off topic.
How do you see MK Roofing evolving in the next 5 years?
Oh, dude, it's a scary thing when I look at the growth of where we're going to be in 5 years. I see us being in 8 different locations. But realistically, it's going to be probably 4 locations, just because what's going on. But I want to be nationwide. That's the goal. And, I want to be over in Australia as well. So, yeah, it's massive. I just think I've got such a good product with such great like experience that is very, very rare to get.
Yeah.
And I love speaking to people. I love helping people. So I think that's going to go a long way with MK Roofing itself.
Yeah.
And the way that it's going to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I having seen the way that you operate and how much passion you have and things like that, I think I agree completely.
Thank you.
And also 5 years is, people massively overestimate what they can do in 1 year.
Yeah.
Massively underestimate what they can do in 5 or 10.
100%.
Right? Digital Simple didn't it? Like 1 year ago, I was working on my kitchen bench, no staff, probably like 2 or 3 clients, like
Yeah.
5 years ago. 5 years ago. And so you go, like, that is a huge, when you think about that growth, going from doing $5,000 a month to 350 or like,
Yeah.
that you can't.
You can't decipher that,
No.
digest it. You can't.
No, I was buying Pizza Hut multi-packs with like 2 pizzas and 3 sides for like $22 so that I could feed myself for like 3 days.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a long time. It's
Yeah.
a long time. And if you added 50%, which I know is quite big growth
Yes.
for a lot of people, but let's say you went from doing $1 million a year to 1.5, and then you went from 1.5 to 2.25, and then you went from 2.25 to 3.1. Like, big happens fast.
Happens fast.
Yeah.
It's so exciting though, because like you say, back to that whole thing, patience and and just being consistent.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 every week for what's
Be
that?
consistent.
250 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not hard.
not hard.
Not hard to do.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of pizza, but
yeah,
I was pasta. I was chicken pesto pasta. Just
yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
3 minutes in the mic and away I go.
You're off.
I'm off. Can't really eat it now.
What were some of the biggest challenges you faced when starting out in the roofing business?
No one knew me. No one still does know me, but that was so hard, man. Like, I was literally like, or popping past like roofs that had like moss on them, like just introducing myself. So probably the biggest thing was no one knew me. It was hard starting a brand with such a known industry. Where you're trying to not necessarily sell a product, you're selling yourself for then the client to buy the product.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. So that's why I sort of said right from the get-go, it's presentation, it's having the nice vehicle, it's learning to communicate effectively with the client and understanding what they want, understanding what they need, and how long they want to achieve it for.
Yeah.
And then giving that honest service.
Yeah.
So I learned if you do those things, then that's pretty good.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Because back to that growth period, man, I went from having a couple of jobs to all of a sudden, boom, like I was like, shit, I'm booked out 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to have to start scaling up a bit. So it's amazing how fast, it just grows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in the time I've known you a lot of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, remember that first time I jacked up with you and
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I do all my social media and
Yeah.
partner does the rest, but can't really do much more.
Yeah.
Going to help me out?
Yeah.
It's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, the best thing I've ever done. Like, you're a bloody legend, mate.
I
Honestly.
appreciate it. Yeah. We
Honestly.
love working with you.
Yeah,
It's
good.
we're very lucky to have clients like
Yeah.
you. It's cool. It's good fun. It makes it all, especially if you can have a success story. It's cool to feel like you're winning alongside the customer. Like that's we like you become so invested, and we're quite like this across the board. But you just become so invested in these people's businesses over time that like my staff now care about your wins as much as I do, and it just becomes this cool
culture where and that's the whole thing, and that's what I think a lot of businesses have missed out. They've sort of taken I want money and need growth, need this, instead of scaling it back and back. Actually, people want human connection.
Yeah.
People want to be heard and know that they feel appreciated
Yeah.
and valued. If you implement that into your business, you just gone up another level just by implementing those 2 things.
Yeah. I would if you're listening to this and you're struggling with sales, if you stop prioritizing the money you make and you start prioritizing the customer's outcome, you'll sell 3 times more immediately. If you truly act like that, immediately.
Yeah.
And I promise you, we win pitches against people who care about money that are half the cost of us all the time. Because the customer comes in, they go, those people really care about us and the outcomes they deliver, not themselves and how it works for them. And they're saying yes to these ridiculous requests I've got because they just want to do the right thing by us.
Just want to do right.
Yeah.
Look at that quote that was double the price.
Yeah.
He just came to me. He just came to me because he trusted me and I was honest.
Yeah.
And I wasn't double the price because I was ripping him off. I was double the price because I was giving him such a great product with a 15-year warranty. The other guy was half that. So it's like that. Yeah, I think we end the podcast on that.
Yeah. This is good.
I like it.
What do you believe has been the key to your company's long-term success?
Competency. You got to be competent, man. Like, and that's just thinking, like, wearing those 10 different hats. Even though you got people on the right field, you sort of keep your finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
Can't take it off. That's whether you've got, 200 grand in invoices, next month, but then the outlay's not that big, but your wage bill's coming over. It's like, fuck, I've got to sell some roofs, or you've got to switch things around. Like, just be competent in what you do. If you're not competent in that area, get training on that area straight away. Don't muck around. Because it's your livelihood, it's your business, it's what feeds your families, it's what feeds your staff's families. So it's a bigger responsibility than just yourself.
Yeah, and I do think one thing you do really well is make snap decisions around things. Like I came into you the other day and you're like, I've forgotten how to sell. I'm signed up to this course thing. And I was like, you haven't forgotten how to sell.
Honestly, man, I was like, nah, I've lost my mojo. I'm done. Andy Elliott, give me a bloody, I don't care. Like Grant Cardone, revisiting that. But then it was like, hang on, the market's just a little bit shot at the moment. So let's go back to the P&P, patience and perseverance. Understand what the client needs. Educate them. And that's why I've just decided, hey, I'm no longer going to be trying to sell roofs and everything. I'm just going to be a company that is the roofing expert. And hey, if you want us to do your roof, we can give you a quote. We'd love to do your work. But I just think going down that avenue of being the expert of the industry, it's gonna speak volume.
Yeah. What do you think about, like, because I'm a student of, like, my natural state is not sales, it's not communicating with people, it's not anything like that, but I'm a real student of it. I love human psychology, I love influence. It's why I wound up in marketing 100%, is because I realized that it's actually just selling at scale, like it's 1 to 1,000 rather than 1 to 1.
Yeah.
I really like, and I've been really into it recently, is quite like a complacent sales style, like if you want, like, just and it's not something that I ever really settled into. I was always the most enthusiastic, the most passionate, but I found, especially as we've been dealing with some bigger accounts, being like, this is your solution, I've put in the research, I've done the homework, it's yours if you want it, has been such a cool way to close those deals off, as opposed to being like, should we get into it, what do you need from me, like real. And I think things have been moving through faster that way.
Yeah, it's because obviously you're not going for the hard sell, the aggressive sell. You've basically just gone down that avenue that I want to go down, which is, hey, we're the expert, and here's the quote if you want to proceed. Yeah, you're gonna be like, fucking no for proceeding. You've just told us everything we need to do. Yeah, you haven't even asked for the job. Trust. So there's a lot of people out there in the current market that are push, aggressive sale, we've got to get the deal. Yeah. Whether you just take a step back, it's more relaxing for the client. They earn a lot more trust. We're genuine. We don't have to be like, if we don't get this deal, we're not going to eat. There's enough food on the table for everyone. But I think putting it down to what you've just said, it speaks volume, man. And that's the way you have to do it. And that's the way everything's moving now, I think. More genuine, more connection. Yeah. And just like, here's a quote, sign it. Hey, let's come get a coffee.
And they turn into better clients. Like if someone makes the decision to join us rather than getting sold on the dream or whatever, that they're a client that's more mission focused. And
I think it's just back on that. I think not saying that you don't need to be aggressive within a sale, but some clients do need. If there's the person that wants to start their own business they're listening to this, you probably still do need to educate them and help them make a decision to get what they need, because there's a lot of people out there that don't know what they want. But what they need is often right in front of them. Yeah. So just about that as well.
Or they can be their own worst enemy, which you see every now and again too. They're like, I think I'm going to do this myself. You're like, please don't.
Yeah, I've
just don't do anything.
Dealt with those for a few times this month, but we won't go there.
I'm going to repaint my roof myself.
Yeah, we had a guy. I could paint it on harness myself. It's 45-degree pitch, top story. I'm like, okay, mate, whatever. It's an ACC ad waiting to happen. Yeah, never mind. Never mind.
Can you share a moment in your career that made you feel especially proud as a business owner?
Probably getting my office. get in my office. It was a massive thing for me because I was like you, one little like size table like this, with bloody everything was stacked up. Could only fit my hands on the keyboard. So really putting the logo on the front door and, getting my new office equipment and, having an office lady, I was like, this is a huge achievement because going from someone that spent $50 on a Facebook ad and was watching My Kitchen Rules on TV and I was like, hey, I'm going to call my business MKR. And then I was like, no, MK. And then doing it from that was a huge achievement. It was just like, yeah, I'm on the right path. I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
The foundations are slowly building. So that was probably the massive achievement for me.
I think mine was similar. It was that like 5 staff office. Like that's like a sweet spot in business where you're like,
how good a feeling was it when you got your first staff member?
Yeah. I was stressed with my first one, but it was probably around 3 where it really started to feel cool. That was when it really started to feel cool. Yeah. It then becomes cool again. Like at 20, it's probably cooler. But it's just cooler in a different way where you're more focused around empowering your staff to be who you were when you had 3 staff so they can manage their 3 people and you can manage them. And it becomes, it's different. It's different. We did this, there was 8 of us. So I took 7 staff along to this high performance leadership thing yesterday.
Cool. Yeah.
And it was just cool having 7 leaders in a business. Like I thought about that. I was sitting there and I was like, this is amazing to have 7 people who are worthy of investing in development. It's not that the others aren't worthy of investing, but like they're at a stage where that's a legitimate thing that you should do. Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool.
It's epic because you sort of look over there and you're like, back to 5 years ago. Shit, I was at a kitchen bench ordering Pizza Hut. Yeah. Now I've just paid day off, taken my team across here. Yeah. To then grow and adapt, and there's a lot of business people out there that don't do that, don't invest in their staff. Your staff's your biggest asset. Don't care how much work you got on the house, 6 for you. Yeah, you staff everything. You got no staff, you got a pretty shit business.
There's a really good Henry Ford quote. The only thing worse than investing in your staff and them leaving is not investing them in them and they stay. Yeah, real.
I love that.
So good.
It's so good.
So good. How do you approach building a strong team at MK Roofing and what qualities do you look for in team members?
Qualities I look for in team members are obviously integrity, honesty. That's huge, man, and loyalty. I find if you've got those 3 key points, you're pretty good. Yeah, you're pretty good. The way we structure it's just being honest and open with each other. Yeah. We're human, and I'm huge on family time outside of work. I'm huge on sports. So it's like if they're into something, then I'm either sponsoring them or trying to get them into something else. Mm-hmm. But I think that's extremely important. Back to that culture thing. You do that workout, that team bonding every Friday, don't you?
Yeah. We were doing 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Attendance dropped off a little bit, so I'm trying to figure out what we do to get it up. But I like that. I believe in health. I believe
100%.
in 100%. I don't feel as good this week. I mean, it's hard because Arch isn't sleeping and because I'm sick, but I don't feel as good this week. And so I've kind of just put it down to, because I haven't done my 3 recreate sessions or my 2 recreate
me and
sessions.
You both, I'm running on -10, like I said before this podcast. But, I still went to the gym, but didn't go to the gym today.
Yeah.
But then it's like, you piece of crap.
Yeah.
Don't be a pussy.
Well, I got up for the gym, but I spoke to Jen. I was like, I can't go. So I had to just take Arch for a couple of hours and let her catch up on some sleep.
And honestly, I think we're too hard on ourselves. Like,
maybe.
I was speaking to you before this podcast, and it's like you just need to pull the reins back on the stallion a bit and just take her down a couple of pegs.
Yeah.
Because it's about the longevity thing. Like, and that's another thing where you look at business too. Like, how do you build a strong culture? Like, this thing you running around like a headless chook, absolutely destroying yourself. Like, shit, this is what the leader's doing. Like, I've got to follow suit. So it's about acknowledging, your actions obviously mirror image to them as well. Doesn't necessarily always mean they do it, but they're picking up on things, aren't they?
I agree completely. And I've sort of changed my mindset with that a little bit, because my old one used to be like, I'll just show them how hard I'll go. Like, I honestly...
Tweaking out on the floor.
Yeah, last year, we had 2 account managers and me managing, say, give or take 70 accounts, I'd say. Right. Both account managers quit.
Yeah.
I managed all 70 accounts. Just for like
dude.
I'll just do it. Like I was like, I don't see a path for us doing this, and we can't really put more people into a system that's not working. We tried account managers a couple of times, it hadn't clicked. I was like, I'm going to go understand this product. So I was like, I'm just going to manage 70 accounts. At the time, I had about give or take 16 direct reports in the business as well. And I was like, I'm just going to go do everything. And I just went till you think your ears are going to start bleeding. Like you're turning up to the office and your ears are ringing and your vision's blurry and you're just like, but there are chapters of your business where you should do that. I still think. Yeah. I just think having that attitude towards everything. You see those like older guys who are still in business. Oh, they're about to blow a gasket.
Yeah.
You can tell they've just been on the limiter for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Probably some of them 30.
Yeah.
They're just toast. And they just wind up so resentful. They hate the companies.
They're not pleasurable to deal with.
Yeah.
I've dealt with a couple of them, and it's like, how do you even get a deal?
Yeah.
And that's another thing. That's what I don't want to be.
Yeah.
So keep it fun.
Yeah.
Keep it enjoyable.
Yeah.
That's all I've got to say.
Why not?
But that's not to say don't go hell for leather. You know?
What would you say sets MK Roofing apart from other roofing companies?
I think, myself as an individual, I think I'm pretty unique in the way that I'm exceptionally different to everyone else that's in the roofing industry. And that's energy, passion-wise, loyalty-wise, and obviously the diversification throughout MK Roofing, where we can provide pretty much every service. There's not much more to say to that.
I agree with you completely. There's also more to you that is different that you probably don't even understand that you do.
I'm pretty hard on myself like that.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of businesses, right? And there's very few of them that have the same approach towards business that you do in terms of the open-mindedness towards investment in the future, the overarching vision, and then it's very rare to find someone with a big vision and a big work ethic. And what I tend to find is you have people who are extremely good workers who are so busy in the work that they can't look forwards. Yeah. And so they wind up unproductive and they're just sprinting on the hamster wheel. They're just going. And then you've got people who spend so much time talking a massive game that they don't do any work. Yeah. And they're all vision. And so to find people who meet both is really rare. And then you also bring that into, you have an element of risk adversity, which I don't often stumble across people who view risk the same way as I do, where I'm like, why not? Yeah. Like someone will come to me and they'll be like, I just spent $5,000 on press ads. Yeah. I didn't even think it was going to work. Yeah. But I was just like, I need to do this. Because I need to close this chapter in my head.
100%.
And it doesn't mean that I don't respect money. That's not the attitude around it. It's about investing and trying and testing and pushing the boundaries and doing things people aren't doing. And eventually, I know if I do that 10 times, one of them will stick. And then you'll go, like our videographer was an example of that. I'd made all these hires, I'd done all these things. And then all of a sudden, we just hired Luke. And Luke will obviously watch this back, who's epic. And then it was great, just man. Video is it. Yeah. And I didn't know. We'd just been doing images all this time. Yeah. Video is so much better than images. Yeah. And I'd been saying that shooting video on a phone was acceptable. Yeah. And it is sometimes. For content and things like that. But it's also not sometimes, i.e. like a podcast format. You can't just be recording this on a phone. Yeah. We know people that do that. It's not good to listen back to. It's not good to watch. Now, so many of our clients use video. Yeah. The video looks awesome. They look awesome. They love their business. Yeah. They then either spend more money with us, refer people to us, do more work with us, do those things. But it was just one of the 10 that I just threw a dart against the wall, and it was just a bullseye. Yeah. And so then all you do is go throw another 10. Yeah. That's the answer. Yeah. Keep going. You just understand that one that you get will pay off more than the other 9 won't. Oh,
you're amazed at the return on investment for that, $5,000. I've done stuff where it's just like, why? And then you're thinking why are you so small-minded? Yeah. And then you spend a day, right, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. That's just, 100%.
It's cool, eh? Yeah. It's really cool.
Love it.
How do you handle setbacks or unexpected challenges in your business?
Oh, I love them. Bring it on. Honestly, I don't care. Bring it on. Setbacks, awesome. What have we done wrong? What are we not doing? What system have we not implemented? Yeah, I sound like, it's all good, but I'll have a moment there where I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's like, what the hell? Or barrel someone up and be like, but then, hey, deep breath, righto, this is actually your fault because obviously you as a business owner haven't implemented A, B, C or aren't doing X, Y, Z. Solution. It's fast, and that's where you say, I'm good at being fast decisions. That's probably why I've gotten so far in the short amount of time of what I do, because I make quick, easy decisions. And it's not stupid decisions or uneducated, decisions. It's just basically, no, this is the route we've got to go down, so we eliminate this. So I think addressing them for what they are, pronto, coming up with a new system, getting them done.
Nice.
This is the way you handle it.
Love it. What advice would you give to someone looking to start their own roofing company?
Study the market. Learn how many of your competitors are out there. Because there was 121 roofing companies at the start of this year. There's now 89. That's including plumbers as well. So learn the industry you want to get in. Have a point of difference. And just go hammer and tongs.
By including plumbers as well, you mean like roofing plumbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, cool. Obviously not plumbers overall.
Obviously not plumbers overall. No, you got to have plumbers here.
Yeah.
But to do your plumber straight, you got to do some form of roofing as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I think just study your industry. It's like people don't understand. I'll start a business. They don't know how many competitors they got. They don't know what industry they're coming in, what the current market's doing. So just homework is everything.
Yeah. Nice. Love it. How do you balance quality and cost when it comes to your projects?
Quality is over cost. I don't care if we're losing money on a job. That's one of my key points is quality. I've lost out on a lot of jobs where we've just done the right thing by the client and it's costed us money to keep the quality high. That is everything. That should always go above cost. But, when you look at a job, it's obviously implementing new systems now. We've got quality control reports before a job is finished. And then when I go and inspect a job, I'm pointing all through the things that, hey, this could come up. There might be a variation there, but let's do some further investigation into this. When I've started doing that, we've had no comebacks. The comebacks that we have had are from clients having high expectations from a low-end product. Which sometimes you get, but that's just when you go, okay, we'll fix it. We'll make it better.
Because at the end of the day, it's your fault anyway. Even if they did it themselves. I'm the same thing. I'm mate, I'll pay for that.
Whatever.
Was it me? Was it you? Let's not worry about it. I'm covering it.
Let's not get into that dialogue. That's just, okay, we're a business, we're providing a service, you're not happy, let's make you happy.
Binary, not complicated. No. If you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice at the start of your business journey, what would it be?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Fear is an evil disease. It's fucking evil, man. We get into some dark places. Just by looking at you, I can tell that we've both been in that position where we're just like, oh man, what are we doing? But it's just about acknowledging it and backing yourself and just going for it.
I have this, I actually have a video on my phone. I've never watched it back, by the way, but I recorded it. At this point, it was a few years ago now, where it was the first time in my career I'd ever not known how I was going to get out. So and I use career, but it's business journey really, where there'd always been an angle, there'd always been a savings account that I didn't really want to touch the money on, but I could pull it out. But this was the first time in my life where I was like, the invoices out don't match the money to go out, plus the tax to pay, plus the wages, plus all those sorts of things. I don't have the resources stashed to make up for this. I'm like, what am I selling? How am I? It was the first time in my life that I'd ever been. And because I'd burned the boats. Take all of it. I don't care. Take all of it. And so I was sort of in a mindset where I was like, right, I wonder what I'm getting for my watch if I fire sell it. And it's tough because you then realize that's only half a payroll. So you're like, that doesn't get me very far. And you start going, you start doing the numbers and you're like, and I remember in this video, I still remember what I said, where it was like, right now you don't know what you're going to do to get through this, but you will. That was all it was. And there was, I did not know what the path would be. I couldn't even really tell you now what the path was. I think it was just go in and just sell heaps of shit and just bite down and go real hard, and that would fix it. But that's all I said, and it's like a selfie video sitting in my room, and I'm like,
But you, by doing that, obviously gave you, righto, this
Go
is
time.
it.
yeah, change gear.
Because I've got photos of when I first started, the bank account was 0. That's like,
Yeah,
wow, this is what I am.
yeah,
And it's just like, something switches in you
Yeah.
where you just become an animal, and you're just doing it, and it's just like autonomous, like it's going. You know what I mean?
100% I do. The thing that makes me feel a little bit sick about it is that I think I like that more than I like when things are good.
Yeah.
I truly do. And I think it's real unhealthy. I think it's like borderline self-harm.
It's that adrenaline bloody rush where you're just
like
like,
my back against
fuck,
the wall.
like,
Yeah.
come on, what next? And
Yeah.
that's why we're probably sitting here and we feel like we're 90.
Yeah.
like asleep, tapped out.
Mate, I've thought about it so much.
Yeah.
I genuinely think I like being in that state more than I like being in a state of my life's all good.
Yeah, comfortable.
I
Yeah.
love checking goals.
Yeah.
I hate checking goals.
Yeah.
Like and don't like I'm gonna go pick this car up tomorrow, and I'm pretty excited. But
Mate, it's sick.
there's also that inevitable crash after the high,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I need to find another one now that's gonna keep me spinning. The timing's been quite good because that HPL event yesterday has really given me a whole bunch of things I want to consider in terms of how I can help develop my staff and things like that, which I think will give me something really cool to work on. But
And that's what I think
need
it's
something.
good. That's what I think it's good doing those. Like you find yourself, shit, I'm tapped. Go to one of those seminars that you just went to. Because it gives you an outsider's opinion looking in that you can reflect on, where you're not self-doubting yourself.
yeah,
Where you're sort of like, oh, no, fuck, I'm all right. I can do this. And then you get it and you're like, oh, shit. But I just think it's important. Like, keep developing, hey?
yeah,
That's something that I'm easy saying it here, but I'm real bad at doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do podcasts and everything, but it's sort of like, fuck, if I take a time out of here, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, you know? But that's where I'm too hard on myself. Where it's sort of like, give yourself that time.
yeah. There is a person. It's a like a personality archetype almost that is just a learner and not a doer.
Yeah.
That's also it's such a hard balancing act where it's
Yeah.
like I was a learner and not a doer at the start of my career, and then I became probably more of a doer and not a learner.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're active enough, you're learning on the fly anyway. Like you're being challenged by staff, challenged by clients, challenged by campaigns, challenged by this. You're constantly improvising, adapting.
Yeah.
It's helping you to, do more. But I wish I read more. I wish I listened to more podcasts. I wish I did more of that stuff. And I'm going to really focus on that moving
And that's
forwards.
what it's about. It's about accountability and acknowledging it. Hey, it's funny you say that because now on the way to the gym's on podcasts. I'm listening to Alex Hormozy.
Yeah.
I've already listened to him. But it's just about retaining it, repetitive, like keep going, consistency, So I think even just making those small fractional like changes within your life
Yeah.
over a long period of time, like in 12 months' time, you'll be like, shit, if I didn't do that, I probably would have been like 20% less growth.
Yeah.
Personally, business-wise,
Yeah.
financially, like whatever it is, or like personal wealth or health, or
Yeah.
it's just so important.
And so what is the ROI? And you go, it's actually stupid because all I do is give up a little bit of time and I get heaps.
Yeah, but it's that one thing. If you like take up 15 minutes of your day and do it for every day for a whole year, you become 99% better than the person that in the world, or something like that, or something like that. And I was like, shit, what? Like something like that. It's so easy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What is a common mistake you see in the roofing industry?
Quality and dishonesty.
Yeah.
You would not believe how many people, like clients that we deal with, that have been ripped off, sold a false product, done a low-end quality job where it just ruins the industry.
Yeah.
Price gouging's another one.
Oh, I've heard. I know that happens in some other industries as well.
It is massive here at the moment, like sickening.
Yeah.
Where it's at the point where they're just doing it for the cost and then not letting the client know that they're going to be whacked with a variation, which is so dishonest.
Yeah.
And it's actually sad. It's actually really sad to know that humanity has gotten to that level where we can't be open and honest with each other. And I find that so disrespectful.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like I've got to take it upon myself more to let everyone know out there that, hey, I'm a roofing expert and I want to provide the honesty and transparency that hey, all good if you don't want to use me, but if you're going to use someone else, I want you to know, hey, they should be producing you with a PS3 producer statement. Yeah. They should be doing this system. It should cost this. It should have no variations. The quote should be the quote. You should be producer warranty. So I just, yeah.
Good answer. Right. Last but not least of the 20 questions, what is one piece of advice that stuck with you through your career?
You're worthy of what you do. Yeah, you're worthy of what you do. I remember this old guy did this this repair. I think it was a repair. It was going a long time ago now. And he was an old timer, and I did him a really good deal because he didn't have much money. He was on the pension. I was like, oh, look, mate, hey, just pay me for my travel. Pay me for what it cost me. I was real honest with him, and he goes, oh, you're a good young man or something like that. He says, if I can give you one little bit of advice, it'd be, you're worthy of what you do. And I was like, fuck. I was like, that really hit home with me because it was like, shit, I've struggled so long to get to be sort of, worthy enough inside, and then to hear someone outside say that, and be a client, it was sort of like, shit, okay, I'm doing something right. So that's leverage off that.
Yeah. Cool.
So I always remind myself of that, eh?
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. Like something so simple like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a good note to finish on.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, thank you very much for coming back.
I love this, man.
It's good fun, eh?
Yeah,
the 20 questions format's cool, I
reckon it's epic.
It doesn't have much of a storyline to it, so I think it's important that you have the full-length episode as well to explain like who the people are.
Yeah.
And, but it is interesting just to drop into someone's brain and see what they think about it. Yeah.
Oh, it's cool. It's a great structure, and it's cool that it's done on the fly.
Yeah.
It's not scripted or anything.
Yeah.
But love everything you do. This podcast is awesome.
Appreciate it, mate. Yeah. Hey, if you are listening for the first time, thank you for listening. If you're listening again, thanks for listening again. We are moving up to 3 episodes a week from the week that we filmed this in. So when this is released, Mike's full length is released today. If you're listening to this, it's come out afterwards. Make sure you go back and have a listen to Mike's full length. It was awesome. But like I said, make sure you follow us on social medias. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Even check us out on YouTube if you want an easier platform for viewing the video. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for coming back, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
See you later, everyone. Cheers. Bye.